Okay, so now we have Microsoft. It's got some previous zones here that I drew. This trade was invalid. Never took it. We'll delete this. We'll delete this. Microsoft looks like it's pulling back a little bit. So let's break this down. I mean, everyone has heard of Microsoft. At least I hope so. It's at a major area of resistance. So I think if we look at all time, yeah, I mean, Microsoft has never been higher, but so that tells us a couple things. So if it breaks this zone, I mean, it could go very high. But if it doesn't break this area, well, then we're kind of probably stagnant for a bit. So I'll delete this right now because it's a little bit ugly to have this here for the daily. So, I mean, this is still bullish, very bullish, way above this 200-day moving average I have here. So looking at Microsoft, if normal range for a month is about, like last month it did almost 40 bucks. The month before it did 29. The month before that 32. So I mean, this is telling me my average is about 34 bucks, 32 bucks. So I would say 32 is very reasonable. I would still look for a buy on this, but not yet. I would have to wait because there's just too much bearish momentum coming out, especially after, you know, it tried to close above 350, which it's never been. It's never closed above 350 before, and it's pulled back significantly since. You can see this weekly candle that just closed. It basically took out this area of support here and closed very bearish. So, I mean, this tells me that it still wants to go a little bit lower for sure. Like at the very least, you know, it's gonna probably break this area here. It's touching it now, but I do think Microsoft is still a good buy. I think they're obviously very, you know, when it comes to technology, AI and everything, I think Microsoft is probably number one. They kind of have their hands in everything. So I do think Microsoft will be a good buy forever, to be honest. But for an immediate trade position, because we are trading, we're not so much investing. Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Investing is more long term. Investing is more just buying and praying, whereas I focus on trading. I only want to buy something if it's going to go up. If it's not going to go up, I don't want to own it. And then it's a time frame thing. So I don't want to hold it for 20 years. I want to hold it for a week and make money and then dump it if I need to. That's the difference with trading. So, you know, and you can see price did gap here and it never really filled. So, I mean, there's a chance that it comes all the way back down. If it breaks this area right here, it very well could. So, I don't know if it will yet, but you can see price even, it did gap here, but it kind of filled. So that one I'm not as concerned about, but I mean, we'll figure out our monthly range here. So what we said is about 32 bucks. We'll go with 32. We'll say the monthly high is about 340, which I think it is. If we look at these wicks here, yeah, we'll say the monthly high is about 340. And then our low is going to be about 310, 308. That's your $30 move based on the monthly range. So I mean, this could just be a pullback month, which it does happen. Doesn't mean that Microsoft's not bullish. Doesn't mean it's not gonna eventually break this area and go higher, you know. But as of right now, I just don't know if there's enough momentum in the market and enough people willing to buy it above 350 to, you know, push it up, and which is why it's pulled back quite a bit. So we'll see if it breaks this zone. If it does, I mean, my first immediate buy position would be closer to 310, 308, because for a few reasons. So you can see these wicks here, which functioned as previous resistance before. When price was trying to go up, it wicked, and then here it kind of rejected a little bit until this weekly candle, and it completely blew through it. The next week came back down in this zone, got bought up through it. So this 310 area, I'm actually going to adjust this to 310 because that gives us, yeah, it's right at the bottom of this zone. So price likes whole numbers. 310 is more of a whole number than 308. So 310 is definitely my buy area. Not until then. I mean, this week closed way too bearish. It took out these bottoms. I do think price is going to break this zone, and then I'm looking for an entry at 310. So moving back to the daily, you got your monthly low here. This is hard to see now because it's right, and it's at the same level as this. Here, we'll just move this up a little bit so you can see your monthly low. There you go. So price is gonna have to break this zone, which I think it will, and I think it's gonna come down to 310, and then I think that's a pretty good buy. So even if you bought in this zone between 310 315, you're probably better off. I just don't think it's a good buy yet. I mean, you're welcome to buy it now and hold it and pray that it goes above 350, which, I mean, that's what some people do, but from a technical trading standpoint, I don't see a reason to buy it yet. I see too much bearish momentum after it touched 350. So I think just holding it, I think buying now and holding it is kind of silly when you could just wait for it to break this area. Just wait it out for the rest of the month, because this is kind of the range. This might just be a pullback month. It might go from 340 at the start of the month down to 310, and then come September we'll look for a buy position. Back up to 340, 350, possibly higher than that. So that's my take on Microsoft, which is the 8th highest, or I guess Forbes is rating it number 8 for best AI companies to invest in for 2023. So that's my take on Microsoft. I think it's a good buy, but we got to wait till about 315 at least. 315, 310. I don't want to buy it when it's overpriced right now. So that's that.